Hey there, Ahar here, and I'm back at it again with another dungeon guide on Algothar's Academy. So first off, looking at talents, you definitely want to have Remove Corruption for the Poison Dispel on the Tree Boss. Looking at the Guardian talent points, you really want to have short Incarn, so I would recommend not playing Raise. And I will show you a little bit later why I prefer to have short Incarn. And the key thing to note here is Bristling Fur. This will help a lot on one of the pulls specifically, where you have to pop Incarn twice, usually on port weeks. Alright, so let's jump straight into it. From the first pull, what you'll usually do, or what we like to do, is we like to shroud or invis plot past the first bridge. You can roar for your teammates, and then you come all the way to the platform. This first pull is a lust pull, and the mana fiends are a big problem, so make sure you have some kind of AoE CC rotation, Disorienting Roar, Vortex into Typhoon, leg sweeps, Chaos Nova, whatever you have. The other thing is the first cast of Severing Slashes from the Battle Axes. Since you don't have very many Iron Fist stacks up, if any, the first slashes will destroy you. So make sure you have an SI, or you let your DPS know to stop the first set of casts. Aside from that, once again, just AoE CC rotation, and it should be pretty easy to do. Next pack is also fairly easy. I'm not going to go too much into it, just make sure you kick the Mystic Blast. When you finish the platform, there will be 20 to 30 seconds of RP until Veximus comes down. You want to start killing the Ravager pack. This pack is a little dangerous if you pull all the Foragers all at once, so I would recommend you delay pull every set of Foragers roughly 1 to 2 seconds, 2 seconds probably, 2 to 3 seconds. And then that way they don't all sync up and leap on you or one of your teammates and instantly kill them. If you do decide to pull all of them, make sure you guys have defensive up. Because once again, if you get unlucky, you will get one shot. I'm not going to go too much into this boss. Big magic tank buster, obviously. Just make sure you have a defensive up. Even if you don't have a defensive up, I'm fairly certain you'll live it. Well, maybe not on Tyran, but you should definitely have a defensive up every set. With Incarn, I'm pretty sure you do not need to have a defensive unless you're running like a 23-24 Tyran. That's when you do want to pop a defensive still. Okay, after the boss, we will once again invis or shroud past the bridge, and then we'll come into the next area. Same thing again. What I like to do is pull the left set of Foragers into the main Ravager pack, and then I'll delay pull in the right side, and once we're stable a little bit, then I'll pull in the last pack. And keep in mind, there's another Battle Axe in here, so be careful of that. Mini boss has a tank buster. You definitely want to pop a personal or defensive on every Storm Slash. During Incarn, you don't need to. It will not one-shot you. You just heal it back up with Frenzy Regens. If you do not have a defensive, you can actually kite this thing very easily. So when the mini-boss does Expel Intruders, which is the 30-yard radius giant circle that knocks back, you go line behind a pillar, and then just stay at the pillar after he finishes the cast, and just move left, right, and the boss will try to do the same thing, trying to take the shortest path to get to you. So he will also move left, right. Alright, next area. Be very careful of the little eagles. They do hurt a lot with their pecs. It does stack up, and so if you're not careful with the bleed, you will die. The alpha eagles, on the other hand, don't actually do much damage. just obviously dodge the frontal. Now, Croth. Croth is where it gets extremely tricky for Guardian Druids. On Tyrant weeks, you can drop Twin Moonfire or Galactic Guardian for Pulverize. One of these two talents, or you can drop Thorns as well for Pulverize. That gives you an extra defensive. General rule of thumb, you use 1 defensive plus 1 Frenzied Regen per Savage Peck. You want to pop Frenzied Regen usually when you're around 60% HP for 2 reasons. 1, you'll get more out of that healing, and 2, your healer won't really heal you when you're at 80% HP, and since you have Burdened Heart, you take increased healing during Frenzied Regen, and so if you pop it at 60%, your healer will start healing you usually around there, and then it should be able to help top you up much faster. You'll get more out of that Frenzied Regen than normal. My rotation of defensives usually goes Bark Skin plus Frenzied Regen for the first, then SI plus Frenzied Regen, and I like to use SI early so that I have another charge towards the end of the boss fight. On the third, you can Pulverize or Rage of the Sleeper plus Frenzied Regen, and then I pop Incarn for the fourth. I like to delay my Incarn a little bit because on the later sets of Deafening Screeches, my healer is trying to heal the rest of the group, so you will not get as much healing. So Incarn for infinite Frenzied Regens makes it so that your healer never has to worry about you. After that, usually, you'll probably have a Bark Skin after, so your Incarn will be for 4 and 5. Then you will have Bark Skin for like 6. Usually you will transition somewhere around there. Boss will get stunned. Try to stun it with about 8 to 10 seconds before he does its next peck, and that will cancel the peck. Coming out of the stun, the boss will usually do Deafening Screech and Frontal before the peck. Those two take priority before the peck. So that buys you a lot more time for your defensives to come off cooldown. And then once again, you rotate your defensives, Bark Skin plus Frenzy Regen, Pulverize, Frenzy Regen, Rage of the Sleeper, Frenzy Regen, and usually you'll have Incarn shortly after. You might have to pop another SI Frenzy Regen, and then your healer external plus Frenzy Regen, or you can save up Tooth and Claw for one of the sets, and then Frenzy Regen plus Renewal. But for the most part, if you are out of defensives for any of the sets, you can kite the boss, okay? The boss can be kited infinitely, so never be afraid to do that. The only issue is if you do kite, there is a soft enrage in that, you can only reset Deafening Screech twice in the fight, so keep that in mind, I guess, because it is a pretty tight DPS check on a hierarchy. Alright, coming into the next area, this pull I do, you can chain in the second set of Skitterflies later, but this is a very massive pull. I would not recommend doing this on Explosive Week. In the Explosive Week, you can split the pull into 2, but on any other week, I will pull all of them. And the key thing for this pull is in Incarn, you pretty much cannot die. None of the Fizz hits will hurt you at all, okay? None of it will hurt you. You're just spamming Mangle Thrash while mashing Iron Fur as fast as possible. I would recommend putting Iron Fur on your mouse. And then, once again, you can chain in the Skitterflies. This pack will start hurting though, once your Incarn runs out and you do not have a million Iron Fur stacks. That is where Bristling Fur comes into play. Bristling Fur, you can pop it after your Incarn, I would actually pop it twice. I would pop it once during your incarn. Not that you really need it, but you can if you want. It'll give you a bit more rage. I'm pretty sure you're going to be capped out on rage no matter what though. So maybe actually, yeah, probably going to be capped out on rage. Probably not a good idea. I would pop it after your incarn, and it should get you about 10 seconds. Should shave off 10 seconds off of your incarn cooldown, and you will pop a second incarn on this pull on a higher key. And that second incarn is what allows you to stay alive, because you rotate bark skin once your incarn is over into SI, into another SI, maybe a healer external, and then you should have incarn shortly after. Bristling Fur will help a lot with that. Shaving off 10 seconds matters a lot because you cannot tank this for 10 more seconds without an external. You usually will die. Okay. Tree boss, fairly simple. If you have another dispel in your group aside from yourself, you want to dispel around 20 stacks. Otherwise, you can do it around 25 to 30. You should feel pretty safe. Obviously, rotate a defensive when you go up to 25-30 stacks. You definitely want to pop something because the magic tick from that poison will hurt quite a bit. The fizz hits will not do anything to you though. And obviously, save Incarn for the active set of Lashers. Do not use Incarn on the inactive set. Okay, coming into the Echonites. The Echonites are deceptively strong. Their melee hits absolutely truck, so be very careful, especially if you do not have Incarn for this pull. And the other thing is obviously Invokers. I would recommend trying to sap one, trap it, whatever CC you have. If you don't have it, then just chain in this pack G31 after you kill the first Invoker. One little trick. If you tank the Echo Knights at the top of the stairs and you sit on the stairs, melee do not get hit by the spin, the Astral Whirlwind. So, for Guardian Druid, when these Echo Knights are spinning, that means you are safe. When they are not spinning, you are in danger. Just keep that in mind. Same thing again for this next pack. Invoker, CC, MC it, whatever you have, try to CC it. Otherwise, chain it and bring everything into the room to line. That way the pat doesn't get accidentally pulled. Be very careful when pulling this pack inside though. You have no Iron First stacks. Definitely pop defensive. Okay, again, these Echo Knights melee very, very hard. Alright, I think that's about it for this dungeon. Hope you guys enjoyed this video guide, and good luck in your next keys. Take it easy.